The keyboard hobby becoming more and more mainstream means we are getting so many budget keyboard stuffs from right and left. From all the places in Asia and USA, this hobby is thriving like anything else. More people are moving into custom singing these days as it is easy to do, parts are readily available, affordable, and most importantly, it lets people having their board of their own desire, moving away from conventional keyboards. These days, you can actually make some great custom build with the total budget of $100. So in this new series, I will be building custom keyboards within $100 budget, introducing the community to some great and underrated gem. So let's begin. In today's episode, I'll be doing a custom build with Portico 75. But wait, you might ask, well, isn't Portico 75 itself $100? Well, it used to be. But I guess they weren't selling that much well, and during the last Christmas, the price was marked down to $70. There was this great combo deal back then where we can get the whole kit plus Infinikey Keycaps set plus SP star switches for $100. And of course, I copped it right away. Now, the Portico 75 might look like any other exploded 75% keyboard out there in the market, but in reality, it isn't. You will come to realization of that at the end of the video, so stick to the end of it. So, I opted for the lavender one since I never had a lavender colored keyboard. Along with that, I got the Infinikey blue keycaps to match with the board and SP Star Magic Girl tactile switches. Also, they're gonna give you some tools to work on the board and some extra gaskets. So as it seems, the kit comes in completely assembled and I was really happy at first. But afterwards, I got really frustrated. I'll tell you why. Well, first, let's talk about the kit in a brief. Portico 75 is allegedly a successor to the popular Portico 65, and the specs are really similar to it if you look into it. This is an exploded 75% gasket-mounted keyboard with 80 keys and rotary encoder. On the hindsight, it might feel like a very generic 75% keyboard of recent times, but don't let it fool you. It comes in beautiful translucent polycarbonate case. PCB has south-facing RGB LED plus RGB underglow. The PCB supports QMK via right out of the box. And as per the norm, the PCB is hot swappable with Kailh hot swap sockets supporting all 3-pin and 5-pin switches. The PCB supports screw-in stabilizers. There is a ESD protection on the PCB. I believe in terms of how the board looks, I'll give it an A+ because of the translucent case and the RGB underglow combo. PCB and plate is mounted with the gaskets inside of the case. Portico 75 used 4-on gaskets at 8 spots on the plate. This mounting style should give the users a nice and comfortable typing experience with even sound across the board. Plus the knob at the right is a nice cutie thing made of metal. The knob is initially programmed to do the volume control, but with the QMK and VIA you can remap it. The plate is FR4, stock stabilizers are C3 equals with gold-plated wires. Just like the Portico 65, it has a felt material between PCB and plate and silicon inside of the case for sound dampening. Judging from all the specs, it looks like TKC has made this board to be clacky sounding, just like its predecessors. What it changed from the predecessor is that adding daughter board to the Type-C input versus the integrated Type-C input on the PCB in Portico 65. So that's a very good job done from their end. Now, let's take a look into the keycaps and the switches I got. Keycaps are made by Infinikey. These are thick cherry profile die-sub PBT keycaps with blue fonts. While the fonts might seem a bit fuzzy, I guess I can't complain much for the price that I've got this. I'm really happy that TKC added the option to get the Space Star Magic Girl switches. It's a tactile switch with 67 gram spring weight, nylon housing, palm stem, and comes with mild factory lubrication. It has a nice round bump with medium tactility. The bump starts right from the top, allowing for a nice, snappy, and prominent tactility. They are a bit deep sounding. To improve the sound further, you can always lube the switches. I would suggest lubing it with Tribosys. Oh, okay, so as I was saying, seeing the board completely assembled, I was quite happy. So what I did was install the keycaps and switches right away, which I shouldn't have. Why? The next sound test is going to explain it. So the issue are, number 1, the stabs are not looped and rattling like rattlesnake. And number 2, the silicon dampener inside of the case made the board sound very timid. So a big heads up to everyone. Don't get fooled by seeing the board assembled. The board needs to be tuned to make it usable. In my opinion, like many other custom boards out there, this should have come in unassembled. Okay, enough with the rant. Let's work on fixing the board. So the footage you are seeing on the screen are from my build stream on Facebook. Don't forget to follow my social media handles to see me building more boards like this. So here's how I have disassembled the board. Remove the screws from the back and the board gets opened. Then I remove the screws attaching the PCB and plate. And there you have it. First thing I did was lubing the stabilizers. So the C3 equals stabs are really good if you can tune them right. So what I did was lubed it with Krytox 205 grade 0 and the wires with dielectric grades as usual. And then, to improve the sound further, I did 2 things. Firstly, tape modded the PCB with surgical tape. One thing I made sure was to avoid covering the underglow LEDs. Then I added a thin layer of PE foam at top of the PCB. And then I reassembled the board. This time around, I didn't include the thick silicon dampener inside of the case. The board feels really light afterwards. So in addition to the SP Star Dark Magical switches, I also try in some other budget switches such as KTT Halu, JWICK Yellows and Dareu Violet Gold V2. So time to hear the sound test after the mod. Now, the board sounds actually a lot better after the tweaks, and certainly you should consider all this mod right away after getting this board. The board is super clacky and loud. This is basically as per my liking. The addition of the P-foam and the Tempest tape mod enhance the sound of the board even further. Now on to the final verdict. How does the Portico 75 hold up in 2023? This is a really nice starter kit for anyone coming into the hobby who are willing to spend $100. As of now, you can get this similar type of full build with Infinikey Keycaps and SP Star switches for $100. But do keep in mind that Portico boards are designed to be made clacky. And these days, I have seen people are eyeing for something like talky, creamy, etc. Except for some switches, this board is going to be clacky and loud. So before getting this board, do keep that in mind. But in my eyes, the whole combo screams value. Switches are great feeling, keycaps are of very good quality. Plus, you're gonna have the rotary knob. As a package, it's definitely worth consideration. Now, in terms of competition, it has to compete with a lot of other value exploded 75% and 65% kit out there with the likings of Akko 5075S, Next M75, James Dunkey A3 Pro, FL.CMMK, MK750, Go Polar GG75, Ducaro VN80, Kidwas NJ80/NJ81, and many more. Some of these boards have stuffs like LCD screen, provide deeper sound signature, etc. So we have seen that some of the aluminum boards price are coming down to $100, such as the board from Final Key and Monsgeek. This segment is really crowded and it seems to be the most comfortable and accessible layout for the folks to enter into the hobby. Personally, I really recommend this kit since I like this particular sound signature and look, but your mileage may vary. So with that, I'm wrapping up the first video of this new series. I really hope that you like it. If so, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for the future updates. Also, share your thoughts on the video. Also, do let me know which budget kit you want me to cover in the future. With that, goodbye and have a great day.